There are potential pitfalls in every walk of life, some more obvious than others like a pothole in the street, and some more subtle like a toxic relationship with someone. Knowing what to look for will help you avoid the majority of traps. Not getting yourself entangled with those traps will help you lead a successful life. Well, you're in luck. Luxe University will help you identify and avoid traps that can lead to failure. By watching this video, you will be able to explore some of the traps you must avoid if you want to achieve a successful life. If you are eager to learn more from our videos, join the Luxe University community by clicking the subscribe button and unlock your boldest dreams. Number 1. Setting unrealistic expectations. Let's be honest, it can often be quite challenging to distinguish between having high standards and having completely unrealistic expectations. You've probably learned as an adult that willpower alone won't always help you realize your goals. While having high standards are admirable, if they start to become unrealistic expectations, you run the risk of putting yourself under excessive stress and strain. According to clinical psychologist Selena C. Snow, unrealistic expectations are potentially detrimental because they set us and others up for failure. When we or someone else naturally fails, we draw erroneous assumptions, experience painful emotions, and behave in counterproductive ways. That could not be good for your path to success. These kinds of unrealistic or erroneous expectations limit our capacity to pursue the things that are important to us. This is why it's important to know the following tips to avoid getting trapped in this dilemma. First, be kind to yourself. Consider using a double standard. What would you say to a loved one in the same circumstance? Normally, your response will be to speak to them in a way that is far more rational, practical, and measured. That way, you can learn to speak yourself in a realistic way and be empathetic towards yourself. And second, you have to realize the consequences of setting unrealistic expectations of yourself. Although it's normal to be disappointed, you set yourself up for a burnout when you consistently demand too much of yourself. Failure to live up to one's own standards over and over again can lead to feelings of shame and guilt, which may lead to thoughts of not being enough. Setting realistic goals that can help us increase our self-esteem and confidence enables us to have compassion for ourselves. By being aware of our own limitations, we may foster a supportive and upbeat atmosphere that will make achieving our objectives easier. Do you have any tips on how you maintain confidence? We'd love to hear from you. Comment them down below. Number 2. Comparing your progress with others. Spending most of your time focused on what others are doing makes it easier to lose sight of what you already have. There's absolutely nothing wrong with having role models, but focusing on what they have achieved and comparing your current progress will lead you to be insecure. It doesn't have to be your role model. It could be compared with the people around you. But in this path called life, we need to be content with where we are and be reminded that those who are ahead of us in their progress and those who are behind us are not taking the same path as we are at present. Just like a book, you might be in chapter 10 while others are in chapter 20. Don't let someone else's success demotivate you. Instead, let it motivate you to keep going. Let other people be your inspiration and cultivate what their practices are, because not all of us are the same. We may have different outcomes and experiences, but you have the same goal, which is to succeed. Do not lose sight of what you already have and let it grow. Next is chasing short-term happiness. Aristotle believed that achieving eudaimonia, or happiness, is the ultimate purpose of life. Eudaimonia, in his opinion, was not merely virtue or pleasure, but rather the practice of virtue. With today's modern technology, most oftentimes we chase short-term happiness since it is easier and quicker to achieve. From the liking of a button, a compliment in the comments section of your latest post, it is not bad to receive these types of happy pills and get a fair share of dopamine from them. However, it can become an addiction, and instead of focusing on yourself and being genuinely happy, one may seek to acquire happiness from other people through social affirmation. This could be troubling, especially when one no longer receives this type of cheap dopamine and tries their best to conform what other people wants them to be, losing their sense of self. Social media, fast food, and video games are one of the few sources of cheap dopamine. While in short term it could motivate one, but if left alone it could distract us from working on our fullest potential. There is nothing wrong with having Twitter or Instagram or eating in McDonald's, but anything that is consumed in moderation may lead to horrific results. In order to avoid getting trapped in this pattern, you can monitor how much time you spend on social media. Learn to take breaks from your phone and work on a hobby. Also, recognize that health is wealth by being fit, and your mind also gets the proper health. The food you consume affects your body and how you think. You must keep it in shape. Choose what you consume carefully so that you may reach a successful life. Speaking of chasing, the next life trap on our list is chasing time. Many people think they don't have enough time to achieve their career goals, go on vacations, and get enough sleep while spending quality time with their loved ones. That is a lot of work for one person. We tend to chase time trying to catch up with everything that is happening around us, from work meetings to family gatherings and traveling to vacation spots. Trying to fit all of those life events with limited time may lead to unhappiness, lack of sleep, and the feeling of being unaccomplished. Time is the greatest teacher of all time. We're lucky, and we are lucky to have 24 hours in a day. In that span of time, we can all create different choices on how we use these hours. Your day, your life, will either be successful or unsuccessful based on how you use to choose your time, because in reality, the problem is not the lack of time, but poor time management. Through effective time management, you will meet greater success in no time. To put that effective time management into place, you must consider the following tips. 1. Take a journal or a planner with you. It will help you take note of your emotions as well as your goals. When using your planner, it also helps you visualize your plans in the future while working around life events. 2. Set realistic deadlines for your to-dos. Allocate a reasonable amount of time for every task you need to accomplish. That way, you can estimate how many hours you need to work on certain tasks without jeopardizing your schedule. Lastly, be disciplined. Trying to manage your time effectively will not be easy at the start. That is why you need to discipline yourself. We can free up time with time management, so we can do more things with the 24 hours we got. As a result, we enjoy life's fulfilling rewards. Do you have an exciting life event you don't want to miss? Share your plans below. Fifth life trap we have is being stuck in the past. Most of us spend a significant portion of our lives feeling stuck. There were once or more times when we did not have the strong desire to go forward and move on from the past. We try to justify that old us is our comfort zone, so we intend not to leave that sense of comfort. According to research, if we dwell on our past, we end up over-identifying or obsessing over it and allowing it to rule our lives. Dwelling on the past hinders us from living in the now. We have all been there when our present life becomes more challenging and we want to turn our minds off that problem. We tend to revert back to our past lives and dream about the people who we used to be, believing that going back in time is the only way we can get our lives in line. And that is wrong. It is good to look back, but living in the past won't give us any plus points in life. We should be aware that we cannot change the mistakes we have committed, because if we don't, we might lose our identity as a result of unwillingness to confront current challenges. Stop letting your recollections sink your ship and avoid the present. Choose to think about the good old days and learn from it, then move forward. History is there for a reason, which is to help us learn from the things that happened in the past and not continue to live in it. Looking for an instant fix? If you are, then you are in the wrong place. The sixth life trap you should avoid is using instant fixes to solve problems. Today's world is dominated by instant gratification. With just a press of a button, you can obtain what you desire. However, not everything in life can be provided for you right away. The truth is that there are no shortcuts. Instant fixes are a myth. This is especially true when it comes to success. Many people give up too easily when they don't see results immediately. But the truth is, success rarely arrives without effort and hard work being involved. We all want success, but it is not something that we can achieve overnight. The only way to achieve success is through hard work and dedication. If you want to be successful, you need to be willing to put in the work and wait for the long-term results. Successful people understand that hard work is the only way to achieve their goals. They put in the effort necessary to make sure that they are consistent in their efforts and are able to stay motivated even when the going gets tough. Avoiding instant fixes is key to achieving long-lasting success. It requires us to be patient, disciplined, and determined in order to reach our goals. We are capable of achieving anything we set our minds to with effort and commitment. Next life trap is being always the hero. According to Matt Kettman, a writer from Smithsonian Magazine, there's a hero inside all of us. He described heroism as doing something where you're really taking risks to help somebody else, without the expectation to gain from that risk. It doesn't have to be as narrow as giving up your life for someone else on the battlefield or saving someone from a burning house, as long as you are putting yourself on the line in some way that qualifies as heroism. Do you find yourself always being the hero? The one who is always to the rescue? The one who is always giving help? If you do, then you might want to reevaluate yourself. In our minds, helping others can never be something that is negative. However, the world is not just black and white. While it's great to be thought of as a hero, there are also some disadvantages that come with always being the one to give help. Being a hero is not always what it's cracked up to be. Sure, it's great to be able to help others and feel like you're making a difference, but when you're always the one who is expected to give help, you can quickly become overwhelmed, be pressured, and this may leave you being burned out or feeling of being taken for granted. All of us aspire to play the role of the hero, but it's important to realize that there are moments when we must learn to step back and let others take the initiative to lead. It's important to take a break from always being present and solving problems for others. It is okay if you don't always know the solutions or don't feel like saving someone. There are many people who are just as capable of performing that task as you are. Taking a break can give you the energy to come back even stronger. So, what can you do to stop constantly playing the hero? Here are some suggestions. 1. Set your boundaries. You need to establish limitations for yourself and others. 2. Ask for help. You need to know when to ask for help. Allow people to assist you. You can't carry all of it all the time. Number 3. Self-care. In order to have that energy and emotional strength to help others, you need to look after yourself. You cannot fill another person's vase when your vase is also empty. Number 4, know if your solutions are relevant. You have to know if your inputs and answers are relevant to the problem at hand and if it will save you time and energy. It is okay if you don't have all the correct answers all the time. Number 5, be truthful to yourself. You need to recognize the needs of yourself and be honest. If things are starting to burn you out, you need to accept that there is so much you can do. Do not deny yourself the break it deserves. Try out these suggestions and see whether they can prevent burnout. Share your progress below and don't forget to like this video. Number 8, thinking that life is a race. We frequently have the impression that life is a race or a contest that we must win. The reality is that life is not a race or a contest. It's an adventure. We were raised in a social environment that prepared us for competition with others. When you were in school, the pressure of having the best grades, the pressure of doing well in sports, the weight of being accepted into a prestigious university, and when you graduate, you also face the pressure of landing a decent job, and then the pressure of unhealthy workplace competition. We are taught that this competition is beneficial and necessary for success. Due to this emphasis on competition, we often view the people in our lives as rivals, even when they are the ones we care about and love the most. But it doesn't have to stay that way. When you realize that life is not a competition, you will no longer view others as competitors in a race, and you will stop comparing yourself to them. The biggest competition is yourself. Your goals is not to follow others or pull them down. Your goals is to grow in each different season of your life and to test your boundaries in this adventure. Working through your competitive instinct requires a lot of introspection and awareness of who you are and what you think of yourself. As long as you are committed to improving, nothing is impossible because your life is your own adventure and nobody can work on your life but you. 9th life trap is making indecisiveness a habit. There is nothing wrong with being unsure of yourself occasionally. In life, we must all make decisions and it can be challenging to know what to do. But if you catch yourself becoming unsure of yourself constantly, it might be time to think about breaking the pattern. Indecisiveness is a habit that can have serious repercussions on our lives. It can lead to procrastination and a lack of responsibility, which can make it difficult for us to make decisions in life. Being indecisive can also be frustrating for the people around you. If you're unsure about something, it's okay to take your time to make a decision, but making indecisiveness a habit can lead to missed opportunities and regret. Being undecided on a regular basis clouds our reasoning. It's possible that we won't be able to consider the effects of our choices before acting responsibly. This may result a lack of responsibility over our choices, making it challenging for us to take accountability for them. It's vital that we change this habit so that we can make sensible judgments and take accountability for them. In order to be able to make the best decisions in life, we must strive towards clear thinking and responsible behavior. Here are some ways to help you kick the habit of indecisiveness. You can keep a pros and cons list. This method has been proven and tested. It is weighing your options to create a pros and disadvantages list. A straightforward yet powerful technique for controlling the confusion that arises when you have to make a decision and anxious thoughts because you've covered everything. You can also try using a third person's point of view. Take this for example. If a friend is going through a tough time and you're being asked for assistance, you shouldn't get too wrapped up in the situation yourself and start overthinking things. It will enable you to step back and consider the situation's numerous facets so that you may proceed appropriately. Don't be afraid to fail, stumble, and make mistakes while making decisions. Oftentimes, the best choices are made when you face your biggest fears. Even though it's impossible to predict where life will take you, it's essential to respect and value yourself enough to act on your own judgment. The last life trap you need to avoid is living your life focused on getting revenge. Everyone has experienced that emotion when someone cuts them off in traffic, sends them a cruel email, or purposefully treads on their toes in a queue. That burning wrath and desire for vengeance, but you need to pause before acting on such impulses. Retaliating actions rarely result in the intended outcome. Although it could feel gratifying in the moment, most times it will just make things worse and do more harm than good. Not to mention, if you go too far, it may result in legal issues. Seeking revenge is a natural human instinct, but it can be a draining and emotional experience that generates feelings of regret and remorse. Additionally, it may lead to increased stress levels and further damage friendships, families, and professional connections or friends. In addition, if your activities are deemed to be unlawful or hazardous, seeking revenge may subject you to legal ramifications. It's crucial to keep in mind that getting even won't make up for what was lost or take away the pain caused by someone else's actions. According to studies, focusing on getting even leads to additional stress, hinders brain process, and weakens the immune system. Instead of trying to exact vengeance on someone else, it is important to concentrate on developing inner peace and taking responsibility for your own happiness. This strategy will enable you to lead a successful life without causing any additional suffering or injury to others. May we continue to resist the thoughts of retaliation and violence and instead think thoughts of kindness and compassion. The obstacles or traps we face in life can prevent us from accomplishing our objectives, and if we allow ourselves to fall into these pitfalls, we may get sent to the wrong direction and keep us from experiencing success and growth. We must be responsible and diligent in the pursuits of our ambitions, as we must remember that success doesn't come overnight. I hope this video helped you identify the life traps you need to avoid in order to succeed. If you enjoyed this video and are eager for more, like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. See you on our next video.